I received a question from a spiritual seeker about love, and they ask if it is possible to love another person who, being in a committed relationship, is not faithful. And my answer is that love has got nothing to do with any of that. What we are talking here when we say a committed relationship is an arrangement. It is a transactional arrangement. In love, there are no choices, there are no preferences. So if you are in a committed relationship, that transactionality can be done away with if the arrangement is not feasible. But it has got nothing to do with love. You can still love. You can still be love. When you try to mold the other person, when you try to change them, when you live with this hope that somehow they will start loving you once you do this, do that, when you're desperately trying to seek answers, seek solution to what you think is a problem, you are not in love, because you're not attending to yourself. In fact, you are abandoning yourself in the name of love. Here, that is transactionality. It's an arrangement. Love requires total freedom. It doesn't require an arrangement. So if somebody is unfaithful, let's say in a committed relationship, whether you keep the relationship or do away with it is completely your choice. But love has got nothing to do with it. It is perfectly okay to be out of that dynamic, yet be in love, which means be connected to your own essence. It is only when you abandon your own essence, when you abandon this peace that is here and now, by trying to be in a way that suits the other, or by trying to make them behave in a way that suits you, then you're not operating out of love. That is no freedom. Yes, you may say that, but the society says that in love one has to be committed, one has to be dedicated, one has to be intimate, and there are many other rules, many other pointers from society of how a relationship should be. But you see, that is a form of foundation. That's not freedom, because you have made your happiness dependent on the other person. And the fact of life is that people change, circumstances change, and nothing can stop that from happening, because that's the nature of life. When you are in a committed relationship and you are in love, it's a beautiful thing. But let's say if your partner is not faithful and you do decide to end the relationship, and we are not seeing that as a good or a bad thing, we are not evaluating it. It is a personal preference that a certain arrangement is not suitable, is not conducive for a particular dynamic, therefore you are ending it. But it has got nothing to do with love. You can still love that person for who he or she is. In fact, it comes down to a point that you feel happy for them, that they are receiving love, the kind of love that they want from another person. But there has to be total freedom for yourself also, not just for the other person. Total freedom for you to be yourself and for them to be their selves. That is true love. Because that doesn't require a change. That doesn't make your happiness hostage to what the other is doing. In fact, there is a deeper recognition that the other is an aspect of yourself. Therefore, you can fully love that person, the human being, for their aliveness, for their vibrancy, and give them the option to make whatever choices they want to make in their life. So I always say, keep the door of the heart open. Let them come in if they want to, and let them leave if they want to. The only condition is that the door is slightly smaller, so it requires bending the head to enter. Which is an act of love towards oneself. It is not a condition imposed on them. It is an act of love towards oneself. So it is perfectly okay for you to have your boundaries and to lay down the rules for the transactional arrangement. Whether you want to stay or leave, whether you want to be in this kind of a relationship or not, is totally your choice. It depends on your outlook. It depends on the dynamic that the two people share. But it has got nothing to do with love. You can love, and your love is not restricted to a particular person. You just feel love because you are love. There is no separation in that love. There is no selection in that love. As Nisargadatta Maharaj said, love is not selective, the mind is selective. Mind creates separation, love creates unification. In love there is freedom. It is one's nature, it is not to be acquired. So when you bring attention to yourself, to what is happening within you, there remains no need for you to modify yourself or even the other person to feel love, because you discover yourself as love. So I hope this answers the question.